Hello everyone, and welcome to my Young and the Restless Official 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The shocking revelation that Adam is Noah's biological father sends shockwaves rippling through every corner of Genoa City, a truth so explosive it tears open decades of buried secrets, silent guilt, and the complicated web of lies spun between the Newmans. The moment of truth arrives not with a calm confession, but in the middle of a medical crisis that puts Noah's life on the line. When Noah collapses in Los Angeles, pale and barely breathing after the poison coursing through his veins destroys his immune system, the doctors rush to find a compatible donor. Nick stands by helplessly, gripping Sharon's trembling hands as monitors blare warnings, his son's life hanging by a thread. The hospital's sterile white lights flicker against Nick's haunted expression as he prays for a miracle. When the doctor returns with grim news, Noah's blood type is rare and incompatible with anyone in the Newman family, Sharon's heart drops. They've tested Nick, Faith, Mariah, even Summer, but no one matches. There's someone out there who can save him, the doctor says gravely. But we don't know who. Then, as if fate itself were mocking their years of secrecy, Victor Newman steps into the hospital corridor, his face pale but his eyes fierce. He's been here before, at bedsides, in battles with life and death, watching the consequences of his children's choices unfold in tragedy. But this time, he carries a truth that will shatter everything. In his deep, measured tone, he turns to Sharon and Nick and says the words no one could have prepared for: "There is one man who might be able to save Noah. Adam." The words echo down the hallway like a bomb. Sharon blinks in disbelief, Nick's jaw tightens with fury, and even the doctor looks confused. "What are you saying, Dad?" Nick demands, his voice rising, his chest heaving with panic. Victor doesn't flinch. "I'm saying Adam is Noah's father." Time stops. Sharon's face goes white, her knees buckle as the air is sucked out of the room. The confession rips open decades of guilt she's carried alone. Long before she and Nick reconciled, during one of their many breaks, Sharon had a brief and secret encounter with Adam, a moment she buried deep, never intending for anyone to know. It had been a night of vulnerability and confusion, one she'd convinced herself meant nothing. But now, as her son lies dying in a hospital bed thousands of miles away, that secret comes roaring back to life with brutal consequence. "It can't be," Nick says, shaking his head, refusing to believe it. But the doctor, desperate to act, doesn't wait for emotional clarity. "If what he's saying is true," the doctor interrupts, "we need that man's blood right now." In that moment, all pride, all anger, all years of rivalry dissolve under the weight of love and fear. Sharon looks at Nick through tear-blurred eyes and whispers, "Please, call him." Nick's jaw clenches as he turns away, fury battling heartbreak. For all his history with Adam, the betrayal, the manipulation, the endless competition, none of it matters now. There's no choice. Within minutes, Adam receives the call in Genoa City. He's at Newman Media when his phone buzzes, and the sound of Nick's voice on the other end sends a chill through him. Nick's tone is strained, breaking, unlike anything Adam has ever heard from his brother. "It's Noah," Nick says tightly. "He's in LA. He needs a transfusion. They say you're the only match." There's a beat of silence before Adam's response comes, quiet but filled with urgency. "Send me the address." Adam wastes no time. Within hours, he's on the Newman jet, the city lights fading behind him as the plane cuts through the darkness. He sits alone, staring out the window, flashes of memory flickering in his mind, Sharon's soft laugh, the stormy night years ago when their paths crossed, and the son he never knew was his. For once, the man who has lived so long under shadows, branded by guilt and bitterness, feels something entirely different: purpose. He's not going to LA as the black sheep of the family, not as Victor's prodigal son or Nick's rival. He's going as a father. Back in Los Angeles, Sharon waits by Noah's bedside, her hands trembling as she strokes her son's hair. Machines beep steadily, his face pale against the hospital sheets. "Hang on, sweetheart," she whispers. "Help is coming." Nick stands behind her, arms crossed, torn between resentment and desperation. Every fiber of him wants to punch something, scream, deny this impossible truth, but he can't. His son's life depends on the man he hates most. Victor stands in the doorway, his expression unreadable. He has made peace with many ugly truths in his life, but this one cuts deep even for him. He knows Adam will come. For all his faults, Adam never turns his back on family when it truly matters. When Adam finally bursts into the hospital, his presence fills the corridor with tension. Sharon gasps the moment she sees him. It's been years since they shared a real moment together, but now, in the shadow of tragedy, all the history, pain, and unspoken connection resurfaces. "Where is he?" Adam asks, his voice rough, his eyes scanning for the room number. Nick steps forward, his jaw set. "Don't make this about you," he warns, but Adam brushes past him. "It's not," Adam snaps. "It's about my son." Those words, "my son," hang in the air like lightning. Nick stiffens, Victor closes his eyes, and Sharon covers her mouth to hold back a sob. The doctor appears with a clipboard, confirming the results. Adam's blood is a perfect match. As they prepare the transfusion, Adam sits by Noah's bedside, his usually guarded expression softening. He watches the young man's face, tracing every feature he never knew was his legacy, the same sharp jawline, the same dark eyes, the same quiet determination. For the first time, he feels an overwhelming wave of emotion he can't mask. "You're going to be okay," he murmurs, almost to himself. Sharon stands in the corner, tears streaming down her cheeks as she watches the father and son connection she'd tried so hard to keep hidden. Nick can't bear to look at them, the betrayal runs too deep, yet even he can't deny the gratitude that Adam showed up without hesitation. The transfusion takes hours. Sharon refuses to leave the room, clutching Noah's hand while Adam's blood flows into his veins, giving him another chance at life. The doctor assures them that things are looking positive, but the emotional storm brewing in that room is far from over. When it's over, and Noah's vitals begin to stabilize, Sharon turns to Adam with tear-filled eyes. "You saved him," she whispers. Adam looks down, his voice barely audible. "No, Sharon. I just gave him what he should have always had, a father who was there." The words hit her like a dagger. All these years, she thought she was protecting her family from chaos, from the dark side of Adam's world. But in doing so, she denied her son his true identity. As dawn breaks over Los Angeles, Adam steps out of the hospital for air. The sky glows with pink and gold hues, a new day rising after a night of revelation. Nick finds him outside, leaning against the railing. For a moment, neither speaks. The tension between them is palpable but tempered by exhaustion and unspoken gratitude. Finally, Nick says, "I don't know how to process this." Adam turns, meeting his eyes. "You don't have to right now. Just, be there for him." Nick swallows hard, torn between anger and respect. "You're not taking him from me," he warns quietly. Adam doesn't flinch. "I'm not here to take anything, Nick. I'm here because he's my son too. And for once, I want to do something right." Inside, Sharon sits beside Noah, who slowly begins to stir. His eyes flutter open, weak but aware. "Mom," he croaks softly. Sharon smiles through her tears. "You're okay, sweetheart. You're safe." Noah glances around the room, confusion clouding his face. Then he sees Adam standing in the doorway, the faintest smile tugging at the corners of his mouth. "You," he says hoarsely. "You saved me?" Adam hesitates, his usual confidence replaced by vulnerability. "Yeah," he says finally. "Guess I did." There's a long pause before Noah nods faintly. "Thanks, Dad." The word cracks something open in Adam, something long buried and untouched. He turns away to hide the tears that threaten to fall, his heart swelling with a feeling he's never allowed himself to embrace, belonging. The aftermath, however, promises to be even more chaotic than the crisis itself. News of the revelation spreads fast, Victor's empire trembles under the weight of scandal. Victoria and Nikki are stunned, unsure how to support Nick while acknowledging the truth. Sharon faces public scrutiny for the secret she kept, but she stands firm, her only defense being a mother's instinct to protect. Nick, meanwhile, grapples with a storm of emotions: betrayal, love, jealousy, and confusion. He looks at Noah differently now, realizing that biology doesn't erase the years of fatherhood he's given him. Still, the fact that Adam carries Noah's blood, and that it now runs in Noah's veins, feels symbolic of something much bigger. Adam, for his part, doesn't return to Genoa City right away. He stays in LA, visiting Noah daily, bonding quietly with the son he never knew. The two talk about art, photography, and life, discovering shared traits that both astonish and comfort them. Noah begins to see a side of Adam few ever have, a man who's flawed but fiercely loyal, someone who's made terrible mistakes yet still craves redemption. Sharon watches their connection grow with mixed emotions. She's grateful, but she knows this new chapter will bring old wounds to the surface. The question of what this means for all of them, her, Nick, Adam, and their fractured family, is only beginning. In the closing moments, Adam receives a call from Victor. His father's voice is softer than usual, heavy with pride and melancholy. "You did good, son," Victor says quietly. "Whatever else has happened between us, remember that." Adam looks out over the Los Angeles skyline, his reflection merging with the rising sun. "Thanks, Dad," he replies, a small but genuine smile touching his lips. For once, he feels like more than just a Newman outcast. He feels like a father, a son, and maybe even a man capable of forgiveness. As the camera fades out, Sharon stands by Noah's bedside, watching the two men who now share more than just blood, they share destiny. In her heart, she knows the truth will continue to shape their lives in ways none of them can predict. But for now, her son is alive, her secret is out, and the man she once feared to involve has proven himself in the most powerful way possible. In that quiet hospital room, one era ends and another begins, built not on lies, but on truth, and the blood that binds them forever. When the Newmans learn that the impossible has become reality, that Adam is Noah's father, the emotional aftershocks rip through Genoa City like an earthquake. The morning after the transfusion, the headlines explode across every gossip blog, social feed, and news alert. Adam Newman saves son's life in Los Angeles, blood reveals hidden family secret. Within hours, the family mansion becomes ground zero for confrontation. Victor gathers everyone in the grand living room, the tension so thick that even the ticking of the antique clock sounds accusatory. Nikki stands beside him, pale but composed, her eyes full of disbelief. Victoria paces near the fireplace, arms crossed, fury simmering beneath her polished exterior. Nick arrives last, shoulders heavy, his eyes red-rimmed from exhaustion and heartbreak. He doesn't have to say a word, his silence speaks volumes. Victor clears his throat, his voice firm and commanding, "We're not going to tear each other apart over this." But the irony of that statement isn't lost on anyone. The Newman family has spent decades surviving lies, betrayals, and scandals, but this one cuts deeper because it's not just corporate warfare or romantic entanglements. It's blood. It's legacy. It's fatherhood. "How long did you know?" Victoria asks sharply, turning her gaze on Sharon, who stands nervously near the doorway. Sharon has come to the mansion, against her better judgment, hoping to prevent the explosion she knows is coming. "I didn't know for sure," Sharon says softly, her voice trembling. "I suspected, years ago, but I never confirmed it. I thought keeping it quiet was best for everyone, especially Noah." The room erupts. "Best for everyone?" Victoria snaps. "You lied to my brother, Sharon. You lied to this entire family. You let Nick raise a child that wasn't even his." Sharon flinches, tears filling her eyes. "Nick is his father," she pleads. "In every way that matters." But Victoria isn't moved. She's too protective of her brother, too wounded by another layer of family deceit. "You should have told us," Nikki interjects gently but firmly. "Secrets like this, they destroy families." Sharon looks down, guilt crushing her. "I know," she whispers. But if I could go back, I'd still choose to protect Noah. He didn't need to grow up in the middle of another Newman war. Nick finally speaks, his voice rough and tired. It's not about the secret anymore, he says quietly. It's about what happens now. Everyone falls silent as he turns to his father. What do we do, Dad? The question is raw, childlike even, but Victor's expression hardens. We deal with it like we always do, as a family. Yet even he can't disguise the glimmer of pride behind his eyes. Victor Newman has always wanted his sons to rise above their rivalry, to prove themselves worthy of the family name. Now, in the most twisted way imaginable, that bond of blood may finally unite them. Meanwhile, in Los Angeles, Adam sits at Noah's bedside again, reluctant to leave. The connection between father and son grows deeper by the hour. They talk quietly, cautiously navigating this new reality. So, Noah says with a weak smile, I guess this makes me your son. Adam chuckles softly, a mix of pride and disbelief. Guess it does. Not exactly how I pictured it, but I'll take it. There's an awkward pause before Noah adds, Nick's still my dad too. You know that, right? Adam nods, though the words sting a little. Yeah. I know. He's been a good man to you. Better than I ever could have been back then. Noah studies him for a moment, sensing the regret behind the bravado. Maybe, he says, but you showed up when it mattered. Adam looks at him, the simple statement cutting straight through his self-loathing. Yeah, he says quietly. I did. It's a small moment, but it changes everything. For once, Adam feels something he's always craved, acceptance. When Adam and Sharon return to Genoa City days later, the tension is immediate. Reporters swarm outside Newman Media, hungry for comments. Sharon shields her face, while Adam strides through the crowd, stoic and unapologetic. Inside, Victor summons them to the office, where a family meeting awaits. Nick sits rigidly in his chair, Victoria glaring daggers, and Nikki poised like the family's emotional referee. You've caused quite the storm, Victor says as Adam enters. Adam smirks faintly. When haven't I? But his humor doesn't last. Nick rises from his seat, his voice cold but measured. You saved Noah's life. I'll always be grateful for that. But don't think for 1 second that means you get to rewrite history. Adam doesn't flinch. I'm not trying to rewrite anything, he says. I just want to be part of my son's life. Nick laughs bitterly. Your son? He's my son too. I was there when he took his first steps, when he got his first camera, when he had his first heartbreak. You can't just show up and claim him. Sharon steps between them, desperate to de-escalate. Please, both of you. Noah doesn't need this. He needs peace, stability, he needs the truth, Adam interrupts. And for once, he's finally getting it. The brothers stare each other down, years of resentment and rivalry bubbling beneath the surface. Victor finally stands, his voice booming through the office. Enough. The room falls silent instantly. This is not a competition, he growls. This is about Noah's future, and whether either of you are man enough to put your pride aside for him. For once, both Nick and Adam look chastened. Nikki rises, moving between them, her voice soft but powerful. You're both fathers to him now, in your own way. The sooner you accept that, the sooner this family can heal. Sharon nods, tears glistening in her eyes. She's right. Noah's strong, but he's confused. We owe it to him to figure this out before we lose him again. Days later, Noah returns home to Genoa City, still weak but determined to move forward. His arrival draws curious glances and whispers wherever he goes. The press won't let the story die, and social media is ablaze with speculation about the Newman legacy. But for Noah, the real challenge isn't the public chaos, it's navigating his two fathers. He invites both Adam and Nick to meet him at Crimson Lights, determined to set boundaries. When they arrive, the tension is palpable. Sharon hovers nearby, ready to intervene if things go south. Noah looks between them and says simply, I don't want this to tear us apart. I've had enough near-death experiences for one lifetime. Nick offers a small, reluctant smile. Fair enough. Adam folds his arms, guarded but attentive. What do you want, Noah? Noah exhales. I want honesty. No more secrets. I want you both in my life, but on my terms. Nick, you've always been there for me, and I'll never stop seeing you as my dad. But Adam, you're part of me too. And I want to get to know you. Really know you. Nick swallows hard, the words cutting through his anger. He nods slowly. Okay, he says. If that's what you want. Adam looks stunned for a moment, then simply says, thank you. Sharon, watching from across the coffee bar, feels the first flicker of relief she's had in weeks. Maybe, just maybe, this family won't implode after all. But Genoa City isn't known for happy endings. The fallout ripples far beyond the Newman clan. At Newman Media, rumors swirl about whether Adam will use his newfound fatherhood to secure more power. Some whisper that Victor will name him co-heir to Noah's future projects, while others suspect Victoria will fight to keep him sidelined. Victoria, ever the strategist, vents to Nikki in private. He's going to use this, she insists. Adam always does. Now he has a legitimate Newman heir through Noah. That gives him leverage. Nikki sighs, weary of the constant wars. Maybe this time is different, she says. But Victoria shakes her head. With Adam? It's never different.